Welcome to today's matchday edition of Col UTV, with Colchester United taking on Barrow here at the JobServe Community Stadium. The window's shut, Matt Bloomfield's got 8 new players to pick from, and it'll be a tough choice, choosing his first 11 and the subs of course, from all the players at his disposal. That selection process starts this afternoon with the game against Barrow, but on Thursday, ahead of the game, he spoke to BBC Essex and the Colchester Gazette about the issue of those selections.
Matt will talk about the game coming up at the weekend in a moment, but first of all, transfer window has closed this week. Just your reflection on how successful it's been for the club.
Yeah, I think we're obviously really pleased with the additions we've been able to make. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I thank the board and Robbie for their help with making that happen. I thought it was really important that we were able to freshen things up a little bit, and I'm really pleased with the character of the players that have come in and the technical ability that they've got, the experience that they've got as well. So I think that we're a lot stronger position coming out of the window than what we were going into it.
And you've had that opportunity to, as you say, freshen things up and strengthen certain areas, but also to get cover in, and particularly thinking about the goalkeeping area, bringing in Tom Smith because of those injuries that you've got there.
Yeah, I think it was really important that we were balanced in our opinions of what we wanted to do moving forward. One thing I don't want to do is get ahead of ourselves in terms of the integration process of the new players. I know we've been fortunate enough to have a couple of good results, but we still are integrating those new players into the group, into the way we're trying to do things. And there might be slight clunky periods along the way where we're trying to make sure the messages are getting across. But like you say, it was good timing in terms of the injuries that we had to the goalkeepers, bringing in Tom as cover for Kieran and to push Kieran. But also in other areas of the pitch where we feel like we've got good cover in good areas.
And you have managed as well to get some players who perhaps haven't been playing as many minutes opportunities elsewhere to get game time. So good moves for some of those players as well. Was there interest in any of the other players that have been playing so well in the side, and pleased to be able to hang on to them as well?
Yes and yes. Yeah, there was interest. I think that's probably been documented, but we're extremely happy to still have the squad intact that we wanted. So that's really good. It's not a nice side of football to see other players move on. It's not something that's particularly easy to deal with or nice to deal with, but it's a fact of football and a fact of life that opportunities for some means that not so many for others, and we want to be as proactive as we can and as transparent with the players as we can in terms of if we see their opportunities limited here, that we give them opportunities to move and play elsewhere. We don't want to keep players against their will or against to clog up the system. So we've tried to be as honest as we can and respectful as we can in that information, and it's led to other opportunities elsewhere for some of the players, which we're really pleased to see, because footballers want to play football, and if it's not going to be here, we want to make sure that we give them every opportunity to do that elsewhere.
And do you feel you've got that balance right now, because you still have got a fairly big squad to manage, but do you feel you've got the players you needed to get opportunities elsewhere out, and you've got the squad that you can pick from and the depth to manage here?
Yeah, I think there was opportunities for others to move on and play some football elsewhere, which didn't happen for one reason or another, which is part and parcel of football, which is fine. But we've got a group that we're concentrating on and using for. We can't have too big a squad training. I spoke about this the other week. We can't just have inflated numbers training all the time. It's really hard to manage in terms of having a unity within the group and a happy kind of group who are working towards one goal. So that's part of the management of the situation. But we'll do that again with empathy and respect, and we'll try and manage it the best we possibly can.
How do you communicate and sort of motivate any perhaps younger players that are aware that people may be interested in them, perhaps even putting bids in? How do you make sure they can use that in the right way? Because it could be, as a young player, quite disappointing if you feel like you might have had another opportunity elsewhere, but you want to make sure they're motivated to keep performing at this level to make sure that continues.
Yeah, probably the same way I try and deal with everything, with honesty and being upfront with them and explaining the situation and being willing to listen to their side. They're humans, they've got hopes and aspirations, and ambitions, and that's absolutely fine. And you know, as long as everything's dealt with respect, you try and come to a common ground. But I think we're really lucky with the mentality of the young players we have here. They're driven, they're highly ambitious, they're really thankful to us of the help that we're giving them in terms of their development, and they know that they're going to keep developing here, which is what we are, you know, have a big focus on. Not only are we trying to get results in a first team environment, but we feel like we have a big responsibility to help the players develop of any age, but especially the young players that have come through the system here. It's a responsibility of ours to keep developing them, and I think we're really fortunate in fact that that's a two-way street, and they're proactive in their learning, and they're really thankful for the help we're giving them currently. So there's no worries no concerns from my side. I feel like the engagement of everyone here has been really high over this last little period, and we look forward to keep that moving forward.
On the pitch then, a win at Hartlepool, and you said in the interview afterwards perhaps there were elements that you weren't entirely happy with, but you got the win, and that's so important, isn't it, in previous times when we talked about performances and not results, to get the result even when perhaps you haven't been happy entirely with everything, and to keep attacking until the end even when you concede. Yeah,
and I did say that after the game, and I maintained that, but also maybe I need to be balanced in my opinion. It was the end of a long week, it was a long trip up to Hartlepool, we'd had a tough game on the Tuesday evening against Salford, so all those elements do come into it. The slight different tactical elements to it as well, but I maintain that we want to keep striving for improvement. There's absolutely no let up from us in terms of striving for excellence at all time. But what was excellent about last week was the character and the desire of the players, the togetherness, the resilience, and the willingness to find a way to win the game. And that doesn't always come from the first 11. We saw, last Saturday, the big impact from the bench of John and Matty J and Alex Newby in terms of the winning goal. So, I think the squad element of modern football is actually really important, especially going to 5 subs. Doesn't mean you always want to use them, but at the same time they can have a big impact. So that was certainly a very, very pleasing element from the weekend.
And that away record has been such a remarkable turnaround, so much success on the road now. How much would you like to match that up with the home form now as well against a Barrow side who had a big defeat this week? Yeah,
of course we'd like to. I think probably it's worth saying that Barrow are a team that we respect, and we know that they're the qualities they bring in attacking areas. They've got some really, really good players. They've got some really energetic players, some good pace in attacking areas, and we know the high energy that they will bring on Saturday. I know Pete personally, the Barrow manager, and he's one of life's good guys. He's a really good man, and I wish him the best at all times. Apart from the game on Saturday, where we're going to be the best of enemies, but we know that they're going to bring they're off the back of a defeat last night, which they're going to be a wounded animal. They're going to be looking to bounce back, but of course we want to put on a show in front of our home fans. We want a home win. We want to make sure that we're giving them something to cheer about, and we'll certainly be doing our best to do that.
Those were Matt Bloomfield's thoughts ahead of today's game against Barrow, but what we'd all like is a repeat of last season's game up on the northwest coast. It had everything. It had plenty of goals, a couple of sendings off, some late drama, and ultimately 3 points for the U's. Let's watch that action now. Like I said, a repeat of that 3-2 victory would be most welcome this afternoon, but with the form that Matt Bloomfield and the lads are in, there's no reason why it can't be another 3 points. One of those lads that is hoping to make an immediate impression on everyone here at Colchester United is new Arsenal loanee Tom Smith. I'm sure he'll have to be patient though with the form that Kieran O'Hara's in between the sticks, but he's willing to do anything he can to improve the team.
Tom, first week of training with the rest of the group, how are you finding things at Colchester so far?
It's been really good fun. Settled in well. The boys are really nice. It's good. It's good team environment there, and the staff are great. So yeah, really excited, and I've had a good first few days.
And when did you first know about the interest from Colchester and the possibility of coming here on loan?
It was the back end of last week. I just got the word from agent and Arsenal just saying, "Oh, there's been a bit of interest," and then as soon as it sort of developed, it was a no-brainer, and we jumped on it to get in the league and play for a big club as well. So yeah, it was a great opportunity.
And what kind of conversations have you had so far with the head coach and the rest of the management team here about the role they want you to play in the squad going forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, they just said to come in, make as big impact as I can, train hard, increase the competition. There's always good competition at any level, but me and Kieran, one of the other keepers, is just me and him to work at it, and me to support him to support me, and to get this team back up the table to where it really should be.
Yeah, and working with Kieran O'Hara so far, as he came in and has had that number 1 shirt since Sam Hornby got injured. So what has it been like working with him so far, and how has he been helping you settle in?
Yes, he's been great. We've both got similar backgrounds of coming from, he was from United, and then I'm from Arsenal, so he sort of knows, he's a few years ahead of me in the journey, so he knows what it's like coming on loan to these sort of clubs and being the youngster in the dressing room. So yeah, he's been really good to me, and we've worked well together, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 or 5 months.
And you've obviously had the experience being with Bromley in the National League for the first part of the season. What kind of challenge was that, and how much of a help and experience was that for you? Yeah,
it was great. The similar setup there full time, and it was my first sort of environment where I thought this is like real football, and it made me really learn and understand how competitive men's football works at a good level, and it really made me have that desire and drive to go, yeah, let's keep pushing and get higher up the ladder.
And the boss there, as you see, a very familiar face to Colchester United. Do you have any conversations with him about coming here?
Yeah, so we spoke on Monday night, and we were just chatting about him, and he said, I've got a lot to live up to, because I think he played for two or 3 years here. So yeah, he said, I've got a lot to live up to fill his boots. But yeah, he's Andy Woodman, a great guy. Me and him have got a really good relationship, and I've loved working with him. But yeah, he wishes me all the best and says hello to all of you guys. But yeah, it'll be good to live up to him, hopefully.
And with the experience at the National League level, coming up to League Two, if you get the opportunity to play, what do you kind of see as the big differences between the steps?
I think there's a natural increase in quality and intensity of the games. I think it's similar in the physicality and the sort of style of football, but definitely the quality of players and the intensity of the matches is definitely a lot higher.
Yeah, and you're coming into a squad that have been on the up in recent weeks, trying to move themselves away from the bottom end of the table, and have got a good opportunity this weekend at home against a Barrow side who are on the end of a couple of bad defeats.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's really confident at the moment and looking forward to the game. And I think the main thing is, like you say, just keeping this run going as long as we can and keep making our way up the table. But yeah, the boys are really confident, and it should be a good game.
All the other new signings have said it, and now Tom Smith reiterates it. There's far more importance to the team doing well and climbing up the table than any personal ambitions he's got whilst he's here on loan from Arsenal. Here's hoping then that another win comes a U's way this afternoon against Barrow. Enjoy the game and cheer on the U's.